Thank you. I was hoping you'd do that.
You're so totally welcome. I was done with the Veterans Day videos, baby. Hey, baby. When we get home from wrestling practice today.
Wrestle.
It's not us going to wrestling practice, wrestling. No, we're not in any kind of club, don't worry.
Oh.
Not yet! No,
There's no pineapples on the door. I learned that one. I don't even know if I told you about that.
Pineapple on the door and
apparently
eggplant up your ass.
Right?
What? I don't know anything.
Well, apparently, one of our patients did like this whole online dating, type thing. She's a teacher and little guys, elementary teacher. She teaches little guys. She's so sweet. I really like her.
Perverts.
She's fun. And she goes out on a date with some guy. Anyway, apparently a pineapple is like code for swingers. Who would have ever guessed?
They were swinging.
So if they have a pineapple like door knocker or I don't know, something like that. So yeah, apparently and how a pineapple, hey, if anybody knows how a pineapple is, how that has
could
to
possibly
do with
relate.
Swingers and that
I
kind of stuff.
understand the
Please
eggplant
comment
thing.
below because I can't figure it out. I don't know. I don't know what a pineapple means. But yeah, so we laughed and I guess this guy was just a total dork and just really inappropriate and the whole thing. So we laughed and on the texting app back and forth on our next appointment, she texted back and forth and so I
figured it out.
She brought us a pineapple. The next time she came in.
I just figured it out. It when I lived in China, and I'd be riding my bicycle back and forth to work, wherever I was working. Whatever. Not even gonna get into all that. But they had. When I was near Vietnam, when I was down in that part of China at that time, they would have all these pineapples cut up and you could buy them on a stick from the vendors on the street. And you eat it and it goes down your arm and you're like, ah! But what that tells me, from what I learned from friends, this is truth. I'm getting to it. A guy that was totally threatened with abortion and all this stuff all this time. When he married some woman, when she getting an abortion, and abortion is totally acceptable there. It's just like right next to the school, you've got the crematorium. You don't bury bodies, you just get rid of them. I really don't know if there's anything wrong with that. However, what that says to me is that if you got a pineapple on your street, it means you just can do whatever the hell you want, and whatever happens, you donate it to the fertilizer company. They separate all the stuff that comes through the sewage.
I still don't get it. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if I can explain it. I don't even remember how I understood it there, but it made sense. It's the China virus. See, it would work for those people. They
I
were
guess
like,
I'm too
oh,
innocent."
pro-choice and all that. That's all I'm getting. So, after wrestling practice, the kid says,
Which
Happy
time?
Veterans Day.
Oh, yes.
Happy Veterans Day. And I'm like, oh my
Grandpa
gosh,
Judas.
your Grandpa Judas, Grandpa Archie, Happy Veterans Day. And I'm like, and it occurred to me, anytime anybody ever says that, it's like they paid me. You know, every veteran was a mercenary. Nobody did it for free. The only time you do anything for free is when somebody's coming through your front door. And then you feel pretty good about it anyway. So it's worth it. However, nobody does it for free. And so it doesn't matter to me at all when people say, oh, thank you for your service and shit like that. I always say, they paid me. But to hear the kids say, I forgot to tell you Happy Veterans Day. It's like you realize that kid, this is one place where I can tell him what it is to be a veteran and still let him respect the idea. You know, I'm not trying to kill everything. I'm not. I'm very careful. Let him have it. And if he's going to respect you because you're wearing woodland camouflage, which they haven't worn in years, or some guy I saw the other day in the gray, the
They don't
mount.
wear that? What do they wear?
Mount, which we were training for when I was there still. Urban warfare.
Oh,
The
Jesus.
gray.
Oh, God.
The gray and the you know.
Wow.
But there at that point, he's talking about that, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh gosh, that's nice. I could actually drive a kid down the right direction without having to fucking go through some sort of medium to do it. And it reminded me of Veterans Day. Veterans Day, and I don't know, must have been early 2000s. I happened to be back in Gaylord. And when I was in Gaylord for Veterans Day, Memorial Day, I would show up at their events, and Red Fitzik was still alive, and he invited me because I was part of the VFW, and he said, in Gaylord there, and he said, come on down to the high school, we're having a thing. And they did a thing about the Pledge of Allegiance. They talked about every line, and I sat there, but the night before, I was in Mary's Tavern, and I was drunk as a skunk. I'm walking down the tracks. That's how I'd get back, so the cops wouldn't see me walking down the street. I'd take the tracks. And I'm going by St. Mary's High School part of it, and I see a skunk walk out in front of me. I said, oh, look at that. Drunk as a skunk I was. I was staggering, I was everything. I was wearing this jacket. No, the next morning I was. And this skunk walked in front of me, and I've been wanting for so many years. I only tell this story because I don't think I've ever told this story out loud. And I realized Veterans Day just passed. Who knows what's going to happen next Veterans Day? I might not have a chance to tell it. So, like, afterthought. And I said, I'm going to pet that skunk. They all look so soft and so beautiful. And they are both. But I didn't know it. I just knew they were beautiful at that time. And I walked across, followed it, and it was backed up in the corner against the St. Mary's High School. There's a little alcove there, just a small one where they had like meters and things, and it's sitting there, and I'm like, I say, come here. And I have talked about this, I'd seen on Pet Channel with the Animal Planet that they always stamp their feet before they spray it. And I said, well, I guess I'll just walk up and it stamps his feet, I'll back off. And it's sitting there looking at me, it's backed up into this corner. And I come, I said,
That's
come
your
here.
first mistake. It was backed into a corner.
Didn't stamp its feet. I reached down for it, and I heard, and I said, ooh, and I smelled this sweet, sweet smell.
Oh no!
I was like, ah. I said, did I just get sprayed? And it's just still standing there. And I said, I reached down for it again. I said, and it was ricocheting it out of the corner into my face. And that second time, it was just enough. And this is what I say. All you people, you hear people talk about getting fucking gassed by the police, and they say, yeah, I went into another a building, and a friend brought me water, and I had a hard time breathing. I said, none of that is true. I love the idea of anybody getting hit with fucking gas, like CS Army gas, because without having known what it is, because they're gonna think they're fucking dying. Yeah, you die, motherfucker. Sit down, shut up, and go to jail. That's what you're supposed to do if you get sprayed with fucking gas. But the thing is, I recognize the scent, this smell, this experience, where I'm not even going to tell you what you go through. Because I don't want you fuckers to be able to lie about it. You think you're going to die and you do what they tell you. You do what you're told. And when I got sprayed that second time by that skunk, it was like Army CS gas. And I said, and I said, and my eyes were, whatever they were. And when I was finally able to open them again, I said, and I looked and I saw that skunk going back across the tracks over there, over by a New Way Supply across from the high school. And it went under a Tiger Line, it was going under a Tiger Line trailer. And I said, I'm still gonna pet that fucking skunk. And I went and I crawled up under it as it was trying to get away, and I was able to get my hand and just pat it all the way down. And it was so soft. It was as soft as it was beautiful. And yeah, it didn't spray me again. I don't know if it was out or if it just felt like, this fucker's not giving up. I might have ruined this skunk's confidence.
Aww.
But it was so beautiful. And then I staggered back home and I put my clothes in the wash, and right away, but I left my boots inside the door, and in the morning I was supposed to go to the Veterans Day thing at the high school because Red Fitzik had invited me, and I'm waking up and I hear my mother screaming. I'm up to about 3 or 4 times when she was mad at me. I thought that she was never mad at me, but I keep coming up with things. She's like, why you left your boots here? It stinks like skunk in here. And I'm like, oh, sorry. I was able to wash and I showered right away. And but I had a beard and mustache, and I could still smell it. I could still smell that scent of skunk the whole time. I get to the veterans thing and I walk in and there's one seat. I'm like, oh, do you mind if I sit down? And this woman's like, oh, no problem at all. And I said, okay. And I'm wearing this jacket, so I look like I'm a guy. And she's totally complacent with the idea of me sitting next to her. I don't know what it was like after listening to a fucking line by line story of the fucking, what do they call that?
I don't know. What?
I pledge allegiance to the flag. Oh, pledge allegiance. They had a different idea about it. They made it sound like it was a good idea. You're gonna pledge allegiance to some fucking bloodless entity? Let's get started. I'm not. And so we sat through this whole thing, and kids singing, and about 3/4 of the way through, I finally, I kept smelling skunk, and I'm like, I'm not sure if I got all the stink off of me. I thought it was just in my nose hairs and my mustache. And I finally looked at this woman who offered me the seat. I whispered to her, I said, do you smell skunk? And she said, yeah, now that you mention it, I kind of do.
Oh,
I
no.
said, it's just me. And it was good to know. And what do we get out of this? I've been sprayed by a skunk twice in one night. Does it take guts? Does it take stupidity? Does it take a love of nature? All I can tell you is that the animal planet lied to me. It did not once ever stamp its feet before spraying. Happy Veterans Day. Happy Armistice Day. See, that's peace. That's peace. Armistice is what it was. It wasn't Veterans Day. It's Armistice Day. I've talked about this. And this is peace. This skunk had... That's how you achieve peace. You run the enemy out of its weapons or destroy its confidence. Happy Veterans Day.